Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here, Wednesday the 3rd of February 2021, and yeah, it's definitely 2021 and not 2020 as I incorrectly pointed out in the last video. Thanks Thomas for pointing that out, totally missed it. Right, this is where we left it. So we've been doing bits and pieces of odd jobs, and I've still got one or two to do. So the tank and the seat at the moment are just sitting on there. They're not fixed, but they it was a bit of a test fit with all the wiring etc. underneath. Now completed and tidied up, and that's worked pretty well. But I then started putting together the bits and pieces that I need to sort of finish that aspect of it. So we've just about got a full set of the central tank mounting. I'm just waiting one spacer that goes in the centre of the rubber so you don't over compress the rubber, and that's on its way. Other than that, we've got a full kit there. Steering lock, I'm just waiting for the what do you call it, I suppose, the grub screw, the special grub screw to secure that barrel in its receptacle. We've got a retaining wire for the seat so that when you open the seat it doesn't overextend and damage the side panel where the hinge is, doesn't dent it. The second seat hinge so we can fix the seat on permanently, and then we've got the seat latch which I had in stock. So that's just about it, except for, as I say, that one little space that goes in the middle there. It's like this bottom one, but as I say, it's not as long as the rubber. It is to ensure that you don't over compress that rubber. So that's together. We've still got the kickstart shaft to sort out, just to put a groove in that so we can get the kickstart securing bolt in all the way through. That's why it's sticking out at the moment. I can't push it through. And I've still got the rear engine plates to tighten up. But other than that, we're just about there. And then so we'll take the tank and the seat back off, and we'll do an electrics test. And even though we haven't got points on there yet, we can do a spark test to make sure the coils are okay, just by imitating the points. So that's what we'll aim to do in this video, sort of more bits and pieces of odd jobs, and then the electricals test. And the reason why we're doing the electricals test first before the oil circulation test is so that we can use the electrics to illuminate the oil pressure warning light as well as an indicator for oil pressure without a gauge. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so first things first, let's get the tank and the seat back off. Seat's dead easy. Tank's a little more delicate at the front so we don't damage it, because it is quite a tight fit, and then we'll get cracking. Right, seat and tank off. Doing a few of the bits and pieces first while they're off. So first thing is that we've got the steering lock in, so I managed to push that in, and with this then a grub screw is inserted here, and then this little cover put over, and it's one of these shear screws. So it comes with actually a hexagonal head on it, but as it tightens up, the head shears off, and then you just put this cover over it, and that makes it secure then, rather than the alternatives, which are grub screws that have that are suitable for an Allen key, or just a flat-ended screwdriver. Then I don't see any point to those, because you can just undo the grub screw then and pull the steering lock out, which is defeats the object. So anyway, that's in, that's all standard anyway, so that's straightforward. With respect to the speedo cable. Right, I've already got a grey tacho cable on there, as you can see, because the speedo cable and the tacho cables were grey in 71 to match the frame. Well, as much as possible anyway. It's not the same shade of grey, and you can still get these grey cables, new old stock, but most of them are 5'6" for the twins, the 650 twins, which obviously I've used on the A70, and I've got one of these in stock. But I've found a supplier in the States, and I'll dig his name out for the next clip. He apparently has the original Smith's cables tooling and a lot of new old stock, and he can supply a speedo dove grey cable in at 5'3" length, which is spot on. So that's on its way. I say I'll dig his name out and give you the details in the next clip. I just don't have it to hand in the garage at the moment. And then while we're at it, as you can see, I've masked things off here because I'm just going to grind a very shallow groove in the kickstart shaft there, just on the top, to allow the kickstart securing bolt to go through. It needs a groove to do that. And the reason why I'm just sorting these other bits and pieces jobs is because I've nicked the battery from the Bandit, and I'm just giving that a bit of a refresher. It could do with it. It was okay, and it's got the right levels of electrolyte in it, so we don't need to top it up. But it's just a bit down. And the other job that I've done as well, actually, which is under here, is I've attached the seat hatch as well. So we're getting towards the end of all these little bits and pieces jobs, which is great. So what I'll do now is, and I'll need 2 hands to do this, is I'll just grind a slot in that. The reason being, as I say, is that there's the kickstart, and the kickstart bolt actually needs a groove in the shaft, as you can see from the line of it. It actually crosses the top line of the shaft, so we need a groove put in. So I'll get on with that now, and I'll bring you back. Right, that's that job done. Pretty straightforward actually, and all tightened up really well. The only thing I've noticed with this is that the kickstart shaft that I had for this is actually slightly longer than the Show Fury. You can see the kickstart itself is almost snug on the shaft to the gearbox outer cover, whereas on this it's not. But I think that's a made shaft actually, and it's not necessarily the original, and it is slightly longer, because I couldn't get the kickstart on any further, because as you can see, I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but the shaft is sort of splayed. But anyway, I think that's fine. Just did a bit of tidying up of the fold as well, because it was a bit loose, but it's now properly on its retaining ball and spring at the back here, so that's good too. Right, what else have I been playing at? Oh yeah, just on the centre trim, the chrome trim for the tank. This is fixed at this end by a hook that goes through a small lug on the tank. So I've just fitted that. These hooks are available. It's a little long, but I've used a spacer on it, and it's fitting well. So that's nice and snug. And there's actually a sort of a hook at the top here that prevents it going that way, that goes into a small slot, which I hadn't noticed before, but sorted that out. It was already on the tank, and actually it fits better than this one, which is a little bit loose actually, especially when the seat's up. So that's that done. So we'll just wait now for the battery to charge up. It's not quite there yet, so I might leave it tonight as it's getting a bit late now, and we'll come back in the morning and we'll plug it in, and we'll see what surprises we get. Okay, that'll do for now then. Right, battery charged up and in. So next thing I'll just get the fuse, and then we'll pop round to the ignition switch and we'll put it on park first and see if we get any lights. But let's get the fuse in first and just make sure that we're not getting any arcing etc when we put the fuse in, which might indicate a short. Right, fuse in, no arcing, no smoking, no fires, no melting wires. Right, so first thing we'll do is we'll check the parking lights. So this is a standard 71 ignition switch, Lucas ignition switch. So it's a 4-position switch. So this is the off position. You turn it anti-clockwise, 1 click for parking lights, no ignition, back to off clockwise, clockwise 1 position ignition, clockwise 2nd position ignition plus lights. So we'll just do lights first. So we have lights. That's rear light, and no light up front. Okay, not too worried about that just yet, but that gives me a bit of confidence. So back to off, then back to onto ignition. So that should give us indicators. And we've got indicators, and that is actually, we've only got indicators on the right hand side, not left. Yep, no indicators on the left. Okay, need to check that out. But we've also got oil warning light. Also, the indicator that is working, we get the indicator warning light as well. Next thing then is just checking handlebar switches here. Not sure which way round we've got them. We've got horn. Not very loud, we've got horn. So this one underneath on the right hand side should, I think, be flash. It is. So we've got headlight. And also headlight warning light works as well. So then if we move this key then to the 2nd position clockwise, we should get ignition plus lights. So we've got backlight, I presume. Yeah, we still haven't got that side light, but main headlight switch, and we've got headlight. And then we'll see if we get on the other side here, main beam. And we do. You look at the beam over there. There you go. Right. So that's good. So headlight off. So we're still on side lights. Position back anti-clockwise 1, so we're just on ignition at the moment, but that should give us brake light. Okay, no brake light. Let's try the front brake. No front brake light. Bit of a clout. With both of them not working like that, does make you wonder if it's probably the bulb. So we'll check that out. Okay, ignition back to off. And oil warning line off. Right, okay. So that's good. Sorry about the camera shaking a bit, just while I was testing the controls and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll take the rear light lens off, and we'll take the front headlight lens out, just so we can get at the wiring. And also, of course, we've got the big junction box here as well to test wiring out, because something might have gone awry there. So what we're looking at then is rear brake light, front side light, and left indicators. Okie doke, let's get the lenses off first anyway. Right, okay, we've fixed the side light. So there's the side light bulb there, two wires, one straight to earth, which is red, and the other one should be powered directly from the live side of the headlight switch at the top here. And what I'd done is I'd put it on the wrong side, so the side light was only powered up when the main light was on, because it was on the wrong side of the main headlight switch. It wasn't on the live side, it was on the feed side, sorry, on the output side. So it needed to be on the input side. So I've just swapped that over. So if we do a quick test, there we go, side light on. And there we are, just side light on. So that's that fixed. Now with respect to, turn that back to off. With respect to indicator, let's just turn that back on again. Then we've still got the same issue at the minute, in that right indicator's fine, left indicator absolutely nothing. But we obviously know we're getting the same live feed to the flasher unit, and it's also a common live feed up to this switch, and I'm not getting anything from the other side of the handlebar switch to the left hand indicators. So I'm going to take that switch off next, and we'll have a look inside there. Right, I think we found the issue with the left indicator. So all I've done is I've taken the contact plate. It might help if we're in shot. That contact plate sits in there, basically like so, and inside it, here's your contacts that the switches touch against, and these two big ones here are right and left indicator. And what we can do then is we just turn the ignition on, we can simulate the switches. So if we push that one, oh, it's not going to play ball now because there we go. So I've just shorted out the right indicator one, and then the culprit, which wasn't working, if I do short that out, there, it does work. So the switches are not pushing this enough to make contact. And there's the other side too. It's only 12 volts, so I can do it with fingers. So we know it's wired right. We've just got to do a bit of jiggery pokery with the switch buttons, I think, probably, to understand why they're not pushing it forward enough. I might just need to bend this one forward. I'm just trying to show you. There's the there we go. You can see how far the contact is away there with the offending article versus that one, which you know, isn't too far away, but it's much further away than that one. So I'm just going to put a bit more of a bend in there, I think, to put it closer, and we'll see how we get on with that. Right, I bent that contact arm in a little bit closer, so that should work. And then let me just backtrack a bit as well and just state that obviously the contact plate there doesn't sit in the lever side of the switch, it sits in the switch side. So basically what we have to do now is that sits in there like so. So we'll just twist the contact plate over, it sits in here, and you can see two holes either side of that central ball and spring there. That's what it's screwed in with, or secured with, 2 screws. So let me get that back in there, and then we'll do another test on the switch before we put it back together on the handlebars. Right, there we go. Secured in the back plate, and there's your switches. And when it goes onto the handlebars, that wire scrunches in there, and it goes on like so, and then your lever clamps on the other side. So that's all now in position. So let's get the ignition on. One turn clockwise, and let's do a quick test. And there we go. Now I've got left indicator, and there's right indicator. There you go. So it's just a simple case of the contact was just bent too far upwards. Just needed bending forward. Right, so that's that fixed. Next job is brake light. And as we said, it might just be a simple case of the bulb. So first things first, we'll do the easy one. Off for now. Let's get this back cover off and just have a quick poke around. Might also be just the one wire up to the bulb as well. So there's all sorts at this end that we can consider first. Right, I've just got the old tester out, and I've tested across the front brake light switch. I'm getting power to it, and when you operate the cable, it's actually sending power out as well to the rear light. Well, in this case, the brown wire goes via the rear brake light switch. So if we do a similar thing down at the bottom here, I'm getting power to the rear brake light switch when the ignition's on, and similarly if I depress the brake cable, I'm getting power out from the switch too. So that can only mean one thing, that there's a connector inside here, bullet connector, that's might have been compromised a bit. I've tested the bulb, and I'm getting continuity across both filaments, so I know the filament's okay. So there's nothing for it. Undo 3 bolts on the underside, and then we can just twist this the other way around and just have a look and see if the culprit's in the brown cable. Okay, good news first sight is that there are no wires trapped. So there is a 5-way connector in here though, so we'll just gently tease that out and see if we've accidentally knocked a wire. Doesn't look like it. But of course the next thing we can do is do a continuity test on it. Just got trapped in there. Right, let me just get a pair of pliers, pointed pliers, and we just want the plain brown cable, which is this one, and I've just pulled it out. Right. Let's pull the other side out and we can do a bit of testing to see if we're getting juice to it. And if it's just that connection there, but that was loose. Look, hopefully we're on the right lines now. Right, light off, and that's the cable to illuminate the rear stop light. And there's no continuity between the end of that and the brown cable from the rear stop light switch. So there's a break somewhere, and if it's not due to maybe a contact with this bullet, which we'll check, then it's going to be in the cable somewhere, and I'm not taking the loom to pieces, so we'll have to run another cable, which is a bloody pain. Doesn't look very bloody clever at all doing that. But the problem that we've got is that it's obviously a cloth loom, new, and you've got the separate run here that goes down to the stop light switch there, and this separate arm of the loom just comes up here and goes into the main loom here. So, I mean, there's basically nothing we can do about that. There just must be a break somewhere. Anyway, we'll do another test. We're going to take that bullet off and basically hope for some reason that that's a bad bullet connection, but I doubt it. But anyway, let's take it off and we'll have a look. Right, taking the sheathing off the bullet for the rear light, and that's fine, actually. So what I did then was go down to the rear brake light switch, and the reason why there's two brown wires here is because the front brake light switch feed goes through this to the rear brake light, and what I decided to do is I decided to take that spade off altogether because it didn't look too bloody clever to me once I took the shielding off it. Separate them out, and I've just done continuity tests now between these two wires. One goes to the back to the bullet that we've just seen, and one goes to the front to the feed to the front brake light switch, and we're getting continuity on both of these now. So it looks to me as though we had a bad spade terminal here, hadn't been crimped on properly. So I'm going to solder one on now properly, and hopefully that might have fixed the problem, but it's easy enough to easy enough to check. So let me solder that one up now and I'll bring you back and we'll do another test. Right, I've put a new spade and insulation, and I've soldered that spade on there, so that is absolutely solid, both wires, good connection. And I'll try and show you now. Ignition's on, and there's the multimeter. I've got an earth there, so we take the other end to the brake wire, and then we press the pedal. We've got a live feed. So I'll get the backlight back on now, and we can test the light too. Right, backlight plugged in, and I did a quick test to make sure the indicators are the right way around. But let's do a test now. So firstly, yeah, we've got parking light stroke rear light, and then if we put it into ignition, then we should have sit right indicator. Do it from here, look. Left indicator, and then depress rear brake lever and front brake lever. Job done. Right, let me just bolt that back up with its 3 bolts, put the rear lens on, and we're good. Right, back on, so final test. Parking light. Brake light. That was the rear brake. Front brake. And left indicator. Right indicator, making sure it matches up with the front. There we are, that's better. Sorry about the shakes. Right, that's that done. So, fault with a connection in a brand new loom. Care of no doubt. Lucas now manufacturing somewhere else, I think. You pay for what you get. Anyway, enough of that. I know there's plenty of other people like myself that complain about pattern parts, even though they're allegedly from the original manufacturer. Right, that's that done. So next we've got the ignition and the starter left to check. So I know I've got the solenoid to wire up, but that's just a couple of connections in the back there. Which could be bloody fun now. Now I've got the chain guard on. I can get it from the other side, I think. Just to remind you that the solenoid lives underneath the battery tray, and it's there. That's it. And I've got a couple of connectors to put on, but I can get it from this side as well. A bit dark and gloomy in there, but yeah, we've got a couple of connectors to put on there. And right, next thing though, we'll dig out the points. So although I haven't got an auto advance unit yet, there's no reason why we can't just mount up the points, and we can do a manual test on the points. And the points has got its own lead attached to it, which from the points housing comes out the back just there. There's a grommet to go in there to seal it. Comes up the down tube here, and it'll connect into, where are they? There they are. Here somewhere. A little bit tight, but anyway, this is the little subloom with your black and white and black and yellow wires. Where are they? There they are. There they are there, look. So they're into bullets just at the front there, coming down to the points here. So we'll dig that lot out, then connect that up next. Right, we've got some soldering to do. So next job is wiring the points up. So I've got a points wire here, but this is from an A65 probably, or certainly a BSA Triumph Big Twin anyway, for a 180, sorry, a 360 degree crank, and we've got 180. So the points are different. So what we've got to do is, with respect to the loops with the little tangs on for the points, so the tangs fit either side of the earthing. Live side of the points, and to make sure the leads, shadows in the way here, and to make sure the leads themselves don't actually foul the points, then we just need to adjust these. I might have to take one off and put the wire the other side. So I think, yeah, on that one I'll unsolder the wire and then resolder it so it comes out the other way, and I think on the other one we've got a similar job to do. Right, so we'll get on with that, and then we need to shorten that because that's far too long, because obviously in the twins it goes up the back of the motor and up the spine frame at the back up to the coils, whereas we're going from the front of the front rocker box, cam box, so it needs to be a lot shorter. And then with respect to these are the illuminating lights for the clocks, because they're not wired in yet. So these are the right size, and I've got bulbs, but the wires are too short, and I don't want any connectors outside of the headlamp. These just take the feed and the earth from headlight connections. So I'm going to just lengthen these wires, solder on an extension to them, sheathe them in black, and then we just need to use bullet connectors on to existing terminals inside the headlight to connect those up. So that's pretty straightforward. So first of all, then, to do a bit of soldering. Okay, that's that job nicely tidied up. So you can see now that the connections are well away from the points moving there, and the same on the other side. So that's nice actually. New soldered terminals, that's the word I'm looking for, the terminals with its tangs properly seated now, just about anyway. That one's not quite right, is it? We'll just loosen that a little bit and do that again. There you go, that's better. The tangs either side of the spring, and that is the live side. Good. Okie dokie. Right, next thing then, let's get this fitted, because this lead is going to be too long. But let's fit it up, measure it up, chop it, and then we'll take it off to shorten it and solder some new bullets on it. Right, there we go, points fitted. I know the points are the right way around, on the bottom side, because it shows you that position in the part in the handbook, in the owner's handbook, for timing purposes, and the wire actually exits through the back of that hole there. There it is, up the frame, and then attaches to two bullet. Where we are? There we are. You can just see two bullet connectors there. So what we've got to do is put a couple of bullets on here, and then we're in business, and we can test the ignition circuit then as well, which was the whole purpose of the whole exercise. Okay, points, you can see the wire all wired in up to the top here, bullets in, nice and snug now. So as you can see, I've got the plugs out. We'll turn the ignition on and we'll see if we get any sparks when I open the points. There's no auto advancing at the moment, so the points are both closed. So ignition on at one switch, and then yep. Oh dear. It is. Let me turn hands around. But it is. Where are we? So this right hand one here is that one, I think. There you go. That one's working, and then on the other side, that should be this one. Yeah. Don't have anything on that. We've got pressing at the right place. We've definitely got power there. But nothing at the plug. It's definitely arcing across the points. There we go. So, sorry, it's not a very good angle, is it? We've got one side that's not working. So let me just check that out. We've got power to the points, so we might have a slight problem at the top here somewhere. Just check all the connections. That's okay. Negative is live, positive is to the points. So that should be right. Let's give it one more go. No. Okay. There we go. I think the points need a bit of a clean. There we go, we're working now. Okay. We've got spark. Let's check the other one again. There we go. Right. Oh, sorry, not a very good view. as I could do with 3 hands really. I should have set you up on a tripod, but anyway, that's good. We've got ignition. Right, ignition off. Before we ruin anything else, there we go. Great. So, final thing is to make up the illumination bulbs for the clocks. So as I say, just need to lengthen these wires first without a connection, because we don't want a connection out in all the weather outside of the headlamp. So what I'll do is just extend these wires. I've got the right colours to extend these wires so they're long enough to go inside the headlight, and we'll use bullet connectors inside there, and we'll just use, once these are soldered up, we'll use black sheathing on these as well, so it's in keeping with the rest of the cabling, etc. So let's get on with that now. It's all a bit busy in there, but then it always is with these looms. So anyway, we've got the sheathed wires now coming down from each of the bulb holders down the back and up through the grommet in the bottom here. So we've got this set that now plumbs into the earth and into the headlight shell. The main earth feeds over here, and then the 2 live wires actually plumb into the lighting wires, so that they come on with side lights and stay on with headlights. And if we do a quick test on side lights, there you go. Yeah, everything working. Super, that's that done. Right, last thing, we'll obviously button up the headlight for the last time. Last thing, starter motor solenoid. Right, I think the easiest way to get to this solenoid, which lives under the battery carrier, is just take the side panel off here really. I don't know why I didn't think of that before really. Just got to undo 2 nuts, one there and one there, pull it out, and then on the bottom here it sits on a prong with a rubber grommet, so we just pull it out. So let's pull that out first, and then we'll be able to see the solenoid and just connect up and do a bit of a test. So this should be pretty straightforward really, assuming I can remember which terminals the 2 wires, earth and live, go against. Right, there we go. Get the torch about right. There's the solenoid, and you've got the 2 wires there, the white and the red. Red is earth, so that actually makes it easy to wire up, because I think the white wire will go on the same terminal as that big strap there, the lower one, and then just to the back between the 2 terminals, you can't quite see it, there's another terminal there which the earth will go on. So let me wire those up. I don't think the batteries got that much juice left in it, to be honest, but we should be able to see if we're getting a live feed then to the starter. So let's connect those up and see what we get. Right, there she is, all wired up. Managed to get the 2 spades on there by getting the pliers up from the underside and pushing them on tightly. And the good news is that when we turn it on, there's no sparks, etc., no fuses blow. Oil pressure warning light is on, but if we press the starter switch, we're getting a big power draw, but the battery's just not man enough for the job. So I am going to charge the battery up just to see if we can get any sort of movement or click at all. That's all I'm looking for really, but I think we're okay. But we'll give this a charge and take it from there. Right, the battery on charge, and it's actually drawing the maximum amperage that I've got it sat at the moment, 2 amps. So it's very low. I know some people don't disconnect both terminals from the battery, but I have, so I've taken the fuse off the live side and disconnected the negative terminals just to be safe. So we'll leave that to cook for a while. Let's just check where it thinks it is. 14.2, 80%, so it's well down. So yeah, we'll leave that to chug, have a cup of coffee and come back. In the meantime, as I've pointed out just briefly on the side, I've been sorting out tank fittings. So we've done the centre trim, and that's now secured at the back end as it should be with the hook. I've sorted out the strap. I had a couple of those, so that's okay. And these straps, not just on this bike but on others as well, are quite often left off, probably unintentionally. But the reason for them being there is to prevent these two sides independently vibrating and actually damaging the centre seam that runs all the way over the top of the tank and at the front as well. These seams can crack, and that's the reason for that. So anti-vibration strap. The other thing are the petrol taps. I did have petrol taps for this initially, but I nicked them to do the lighting over there. So secured another pair, one reserve, one normal. I noticed the reserve one isn't stamped, so I'll just stamp an hour on that. And I think, if I remember correctly, the reserve is on the right hand side. Let's try and find out. There we go, so N. Yeah, just petrol taps. That's not much help. Controls. Tickler. Doesn't say. Lubrication system. Right, a few hours later, battery fully charged. Let's get the charger out of the way, get the battery connected up and see if we get any activity with the starter motor. Right, we're all buttoned up on the battery again, and we've turned the switch on and press the starter button. We still get a discharge, but I don't know whether you can hear that, but the relay is working. I just don't think there's enough grunt in this battery. I think we're all right. Everything else still works electrical wise. With the ignition on, it's not blown a fuse, wires aren't getting hot. So I just think we need a bit more oomph, probably. So anyway, I think we're all wired up correctly. As I say, we just need a bit more amp hours, I think. So I think we'll leave it there for now. Just to tidy up other bits and pieces, so I finished putting the fuel taps on the tank. They're all done. If I just nip over there, actually. I did find out that the reserve tap should be on the left, and those of you that have got keen eyes will have noticed me flicking through the information as I went through the handbook. I just totally missed it. I was looking for petrol rather than gasoline, so there you go. And you won't see it very well there, but I have stamped a little R on that reserve tap. So that's all ready to go. Also, the final part came for the central tank mounting, which is a small spacer in the centre of the rubber. It's not the full length of the rubber, it just is a length to the extent where you can compress the rubber down and it acts as a stop so you don't over compress and put too much pressure on the tank central mounting tube. So other than that, we're all there then with electrics, I think. So we'll leave it there, and the next video then is we'll set this up to do a bit of rolling road testing, really, to check the oil is circulating properly around the motor. So we'll take the cam cover off. We'll check that all the fluids are correct, because they're not at the moment. We just put some in there to get some around the motor, and we can also, when it's on the rolling road, check that it's returning properly into the tank. So a bit of testing there to do, and then it'll be a case of just waiting for the exhaust, which might be another month or so yet before they're ready to be picked up from the chromers, but I'll give them a call in a couple of weeks. Right, that's it for now. So it's been a bit of bits and pieces one, and some not very good shots of the electrical work as we just tidy up all the bits and pieces. But thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for your interest and comments. And also, what we'll do in the near future is there have been one or two interesting comments that I'll just respond to for the benefit of everybody, and also I need to do a bit of a stable update with respect to what we maybe can reasonably hope to try and achieve this year, so that'll be coming up soon. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much, everybody. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Not quite finished. Quick postscript. Batteries. I was just looking up where I could find the correct battery spec between the two models, the Roadster and the standard non-starter Roadster and the starter model, and there we go. So we've got a PUZ5A at the moment for out of the Bandit, which is 5 amp, and we need 7 to 9 amps for the starter model. So I'll look that up and see what equivalent we can get, because we'll need one. Okay, that was it. Thanks very much, everybody. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, I'm back again. Postscript. So I've taken the battery out and started to do a bit of investigation to improve my knowledge and understanding of what we need. So the battery we have here is out of the Bandit SS, and that's not electric start, and it's supposed to be equivalent to PUZ5A, I think, which was quite a common battery at the time. And the number, I mentioned it refers to amps, it's amp hours. Now this battery, the replacement, actually YB9, it says actually over here it's 9 amp hours. But what we need is a combination of amp hours, but what they also call cold cranking amps, i.e. the ability to give a high surge, short-term surge for electric starting. And so obviously there are certain modern batteries primarily that are designed to do that. So I've gone back on the net, and I can't see any reference other than the odd paper from God knows how many years ago with respect to the battery that's mentioned for the starter motor option, which is the MCZ 7/9A, is it? Can't see any reference to that anywhere in the literature except for 1 or 2 academic papers that make use of that battery at the time, so I know it did exist, but there's just nothing to refer to with respect to comparable batteries. So what I'm going to do is I've measured up what battery this will take from a physical size perspective, and it looks as though a battery similar to a Trident T160 electric start battery, or Bonneville electric start T140 ES will easily fit, actually, based upon the height and also the area of the rubber. It's easy enough to do. So I'm going to order one of those, which will be a much meatier one than that, and we'll see how we get on. So that was just I say a quick postscript just to clarify what we're looking for, and this reference to amp hours and cold cranking amps, which you'll see these days, but not referenced on this battery. Right, that's definitely it, everybody. That's all for now, definitely. Thanks again for interest, comments, subscriptions, and I'll see you all again soon for the next instalment, which will definitely be the oil circulation test. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.